I'm hyper excited just to be here and just to talk to all these guys, who kind of like been part of my childhood. And I understand that for you, who's been involved in this entire hip-hop industry for quite some time, I don't think that it has been easy for you. That must have been 4 years that you've been working on it.
Right.
Or am I mistaken? That was the easiest thing to do.
No, it was the hardest film I've ever made, for sure. But worth it, definitely. We had to develop it. More importantly, we had to get it right. And it took quite a long time to do, but we did, I think.
How much longer do you think this movie should be in order just to really cover everything that has been essential? Or do you feel like everything that had to be said is within this movie?
I'm satisfied with the movie. There's always things you want to drop in for different reasons, but I'm really happy with what we came up with.
And for you personally, what has been like the most influential thing about N.W.A. altogether? Because I just heard a few interviews where you guys been mentioning that it's far more than just hip-hop, which I agree.
Sure.
But don't you feel that people actually, I think also like in Germany, most of the time when they hear like gangster rap, they're just going to see the violence. Mm-hmm. But apparently it's like far more to it, or is it, again, something that I just might misinterpret or see differently than it is?
No, I mean, they encourage you to be yourself, unapologetically you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the hardest lessons to learn in life, is just to be yourself. And they did it as young men. And, besides that, they were honest. They had courage. They stood up against the record companies, stood up against law enforcement. There's a lot you can learn from these guys. And it goes so far beyond the music, so far beyond the group. I think that's the reason why the movie is special, because you'll get that when you experience it.
And do you feel like the record, that the music industry is still the same? I mean, as a reference taken, Be Cool, which was quite a satire on music industry.
Sure.
Prior. Do you see like any links to what the guys from N.W.A. had to go through?
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of, you almost have to be everywhere and deal with everybody in order to really answer that question. But I'm assuming it's changed quite a bit given digital, and don't make me speculate on what the music business is. I can tell you a little bit about the movie business, but the music business, that's not really my arena.
But then again, with all the music videos that you did as a director, including also Cypress Hill, also like from the West Side.
There you go.
So I wonder, do you feel like really, as you just said, like more related to the movie industry than the music industry? Because how can you be not related to music when you've been doing so many influential music videos?
Well, I'm definitely in married to music. It's just I'm not married to the music business. Mm-hmm. I love music. Music is what motivates me. Music is my first love, actually. And I think music is the nucleus of most all art, whether you're a painter or a musician or a filmmaker. Music inspires us to do what we do. But the business of it, I leave that for the attorneys and the managers and all the people on the outside of the music.
But also it used to be like the tool back in the days to have a music video just to promote your single and also your records. Sure. But these days, like with all the social networking, everything has changed. And I think that's a change that also is kind of influencing the movie making thing. Do you feel a certain kind of pressure, or do you are already adapting to it? Also like the visual habits of the audience, considering that movie, did you feel like, did you have to be very appealing to a specific crowd or just like to a modern crowd?
No, not at all. I think that's one of the great things about N.W.A. is just be yourself, and it's freedom of speech. And if you're an artist, just do you. And there will be some people who love it, some people who don't, but it's just about being true to who you are. I don't adjust what I'm doing just for mass appeal. I think that's the reason why we're getting such a good response to the movie, is because we're unapologetic about not only the good moments and the high moments, but the pain and the low moments and everything in between. You laugh, you cry, you have a good time. But adjusting for the masses is not how I approach it, and I don't encourage that.
But don't you feel that there was the need for a compromise for certain scenes? For example, when it comes to when some characters are all by themselves, so there's no eyewitness that could have told you about it, and you still wanted to be just to show this kind of moments in order just to keep that story going. Were you doing like compromises, or is it just that you just took the artistic freedom to do so?
Well, I mean, compromise. I'm not really sure if compromise is how we approached it at all. You do as much homework as you possibly can, and then you go by feeling, man. Does this feel good? Does this serve the story? Does this serve the narrative? And then you make the choice.
And did you have a chance just to talk to all these people who are still alive, including Jerry Heller, for example? He was really so open about it?
I didn't speak to Jerry Heller, but I did read his book. It's called Ruthless, and it really focuses on his relationship with Eazy-E and the things that went on. I also talked to the surviving members of the group, and they gave me a lot of detail about what was going on with Jerry and Eazy and how things kind of worked out from their perspective.
Because specifically, I'm referring to this one scene where he's talking to Eazy-E, where Eazy-E's like actually facing him that he wants to, get split and bringing in like the contract, and he tells him like, if all that stuff that I'm doing is so bad, how come that I haven't been pursued yet? So apparently
that's in the book.
So.
That's in the book.
But so for yourself, I haven't read the book, but so for yourself, is Jerry Heller to be considered like the bad guy in it, or is he just like...
Of course not. Why not? I mean, why would he be a bad guy? I think ultimately he was a human being. That's the one thing that I really wanted to make sure we did, is I don't want to be irresponsible about delivering some of these characters, We didn't make it about race with the police. Mm-hmm. It's just abuse of power. We, as it relates to Jerry Heller, we wanted to kind of create a father-son dynamic, and that's not really a bad guy. That's just a human being. You may have different intentions that may not match up with other characters in the movie, but that's just being human.
Hab gehört, du bist die ganze Zeit bei deiner Tante. Hängst auf ihrer Couch ab.
Zusammen mit meiner Frau und der Kleinen. Das ist hart, Mann. Aber naja, das, was du so machst, kann nicht jeder.
Ja, was mach ich denn? Ich werd nur verarscht, Ray. Was denn mit der Kohle?
Was ist denn eigentlich los mit dir, Alter?
Ich werd ein bisschen was verändern.
Wo soll's denn hingehen?
Ich wollte nur nach Hause.
Das ist mein Sohn!
Sie gehen wieder ins Haus oder ich mache Ihnen das Leben zur Hölle.
Du
können Sie doch nicht mit meiner Mutter reden!
Wenn du die Chance hättest, die Situation zu verändern, würdest du es tun?
Wenn der Beat losgeht, hau rein. Du cruist durch die Straße.
Ist klar.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Das war dope.
Ihr hört hier ein paar Jungs aus Compton. Ice Cube, Eazy-E und Dr. Dre. Ich sag's euch, hier wird Geschichte geschrieben.
Die Leute haben Angst vor euch. Aber ihr habt was zu sagen. Und das muss die Welt hören.
Die wollen N.W.A? Geben wir ihnen N.W.A.
Das ist nur die Spitze des Eisbergs, Gentlemen. Was ist los? Was hast du da in der Tasche? Verarschst du mich? So ein Ding gehört nicht in den Bus.
Diese Songs verherrlichen Gangster und Drogen.
Unsere Kunst spiegelt unsere Realität wider.
Habt ihr es irgendwie eilig?
Das sind Künstler.
Rap ist keine Kunst.
Sie können nicht hierher kommen und einfach meine Klienten aufgrund ihres Aussehens schikanieren.
Ich verspreche dir. Von nun an wird sich alles ändern.
Ich habe keine Ahnung von Hip-Hop. Und ehrlich gesagt ist es auch nicht mein Ding. Aber ich weiß, dass ihr was Besonderes seid.
Du willst bei dem Gangster-Scheiß mitmachen? Hauen wir rein.
Erzähl ein bisschen Wahrheit und die Leute rasten aus.
Das sind nicht die Crips oder Bloods. Das ist eine Drohung unserer Regierung.
Die wollen uns vorschreiben, welchen Scheiß wir spielen dürfen. Aber wir sind N.W.A.
Yo, Dre.
What up? I got something to say.
Mann, wenn wir weitermachen, können wir die ganze Welt übernehmen.
Well, how often does it happen that you meet fans interviewing you now, considering Straight Outta Compton? How is that?
I mean, it's great. I mean, especially from different countries and different views, and just like, wow, we're really kind of touched. Touched a lot of people. Seemed like, it's funny that we touched a lot of people, but we never thought we would. Never even thought of that kind of stuff at all.
I mean, that's also like one of the things, because apparently you were never aware of that, because especially like in Germany, like N.W.A is kind of a trademark,
Yeah.
and that's what we see when it comes like to West Coast hip hop, and also.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah. So it's still getting like the goosebumps just having the opportunity.
I mean, because back then it wasn't no social media, wasn't no internet, so it was like underground.
Right.
Everything was underground. Now it's out, and the movie coming out in 17 countries, so it's like.
But still, after selling millions of records, you still consider yourself like underground back then?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, to us, you know, because we never was radio play or video play, you know. We made all them expensive videos that never came out, you know, it just, I still consider us underground, you know.
I wasn't even aware of that. There's so many other things I wasn't aware of that. I mean, is it true that you were directing over 300 adult movies?
Oh, yeah. After Easy died, I just said, you know something, I'm done with music. Just like that. I just quit. So, yeah, for 15 years, I was in adult film. I filmed, you know, edited, all that. And I wasn't in the movies, but yeah, I made over 300 movies easily.
And was it kind of for you, as you are a consultant to this project, that you just went to the director and said like, oh, you know, I'm kind of experienced when it comes to this and that. I would rather change this and that. Did that happen?
Nah, I just went, you know, I went, you know, when we came to me for the consult, you know, for some reason, my memory, I had all our memory in my head about the studios, about the machine, because they were trying to find out every detail. I said, well, it was this kind of board. It was this kind of machine. It sat here, sat there. This is what we wore. These are the clothes. I mean, I knew all that. It just was in there, locked in there for a long time. I just held it for so long, and I just like, okay. Because we wanted to get detail on this movie. The story right, the details right, everything right. So it's as close as you're going to get to the real story. I mean, you can't get no closer.
But apparently, like, fashion-wise, everything just came back. It's like, you know, like the baggy pants, and like the Air Force Ones, like even the Chucks, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So do you feel comfortable when you look at all these pictures? Or do you feel like maybe someday even like with your former band, where you were also like with Dre, would come back? Would that be also like a fashion you would reckon?
Yeah, I mean, that's just what we wore. We was like simple, you know. Just regular, simple Nikes, Levi's, you know, whatever we were, you know, T-shirts, hoodies. I mean, wow. I mean, we were so simple. You know, like our story was like, to us, like black and white. But to the movie, it's color. It's, you know, it's alive. And it just, I look at it just like, wow, we was really like that, you know. Because we look like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or something when we do, you know, in the concert scenes and stuff. I'm just like, wow.
I just felt it was awesome. But what actually was it that brought you back to music? Because you restarted like in 2010, just like also like producing again. Like
well, I haven't really did music yet. I went back to my passion, DJing. That's my passion now. I've been DJing for about 2 years now, and I go, you know, France, Australia, all over. That's my thing now, DJing. I'm back in it. That's what I like. That's what me and Dre started out as, and that's what I like now.
That's something I would love to witness myself. And thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no problem.
It was an honor.